Copy my paper? Fine. Look like an idiot. So I was pretty good at math in middle school. Like really good. While other kids were still counting on their fingers, I was already done with my homework during lunch. There was this kid in my class, Tyler, total star athlete, football, basketball, basically good at every sport except using his brain, and he figured out real quick that sitting next to me meant easy A's. At first I didn't even notice. I was just focused on my own work, but then I started catching him from the corner of my eye, literally leaning over to stare at my paper during quizzes. The guy was not subtle about it. He'd drop his pencil and bend down to look at my answers. He'd fake yawning and stretch his arm out to get a better view. One time he literally asked to borrow my eraser just so he could see what I wrote. I tried moving my paper away, but this dude was like 6 feet tall in 7th grade. He could see over anything I tried to block him with. I'd angle my body weird, put my backpack up as a wall, nothing worked. And here's the thing that really bothered me. Tyler was getting the same grades as me without doing any of the work. While I'm staying up late studying, he's probably playing video games and copying everything the next day. I thought about telling Mrs. Rodriguez, but I was already the weird, quiet kid. The last thing I needed was to become known as the snitch who got the football captain in trouble. Tyler's friends would have made my life miserable. So during our next quiz, I decided to get creative. Mrs. Rodriguez handed out the papers, and I could already feel Tyler's eyes burning holes in my desk. Question 1 was easy. Find the value of x when 3x plus 7 equals 22. The answer was obviously 5, but I wrote down 8 instead. I could literally hear Tyler's pencil scratching as he copied my wrong answer. Question 2, simple fraction problem. The real answer was 3/4. I wrote down 2/3 and watched Tyler scribble it down without even trying to solve it himself. This went on for the entire quiz. Every single answer I wrote was completely wrong, but I made sure to do all the real math in my head and remember the correct answers. Tyler was being so obvious about it too. He'd wait for me to write something down, then immediately copy it. Sometimes he'd even copy the way I wrote my numbers. When we got to the last question, I could tell he was getting confident. He was probably thinking this was his easiest quiz ever. Mrs. Rodriguez called time and said to pass our papers forward. Tyler shot up out of his chair like his pants were on fire. He practically threw his quiz at her and sat back down with this huge grin on his face. But I wasn't done yet. I pretended to stand up, then sat back down and acted like I was checking my work one more time. Tyler was already celebrating in his head, so he wasn't even paying attention. That's when I quickly erased every single wrong answer and wrote in all the correct ones. I had memorized them all perfectly. 3x plus 7 equals 22, so x equals 5. The fraction problem was 3/4. Everything I had figured out in my head while Tyler was busy cheating. I turned in my paper with the biggest smile on my face. 2 days later, Mrs. Rodriguez handed back our graded quizzes. I got mine first. Big red, 90% at the top. Not perfect, but pretty good. Then Tyler got his paper back. I watched his face go from confident to confused to absolutely horrified. Big red, 60%, with failed written underneath. He kept staring at his paper, then looking at mine, then back at his paper. You could literally see his brain trying to figure out what went wrong. Finally, he leaned over and whispered, "How did you get a 90? And I got a 60. We had the same answers." I just shrugged and said, "Maybe you should try keeping your eyes on your own paper next time." His face turned bright red, and he didn't say another word for the rest of class. Tyler never tried to copy off me again. In fact, he started sitting on the other side of the room. And you know what? His grades actually improved because he was forced to learn the math himself.